This is Tim Bryce with my column titled, What Other Fraternities Can Teach Freemasonry. Freemasons have always been proud to boast, we're the original fraternity, an acknowledgement of our roots in antiquity. Since then, many other fraternities have emerged, particularly in the 19th century, many of which are based on Masonic customs. Aside from college fraternities, there are the Eagles, the Elks, the Lions, the Moose, the Fraternal Order of Police. Even the VFW show signs of fraternal relations. These organizations may appear to be relative upstarts when compared to our ancient fraternity, but can they teach us anything? As in many North American jurisdictions, Florida Freemasons are barred from enjoying alcohol in the lodge as well as games of chance. Whenever such topics arise at a grand communications, the proposer is shouted down and admonished in a derogatory manner, "Why don't you go and join someone else?" Well, I finally did just that, joined another fraternal order, who allowed alcohol and games of chance in the lodge. The identity of this particular order is immaterial for the purposes of this paper, and I suspect most are pretty much the same. I certainly haven't turned my back on Freemasonry, but after over 20 years of watching repetition, I felt it was time to relax and enjoy the company of others over a quiet drink. I joined the new order recently, as they had built a new lodge building near me, and I was warmly received by the members when I requested information. As I first toured the facilities, I noted their clean and well-stocked bar offering a wide variety of drinks and 12 taps for various draft beers. There were also some vending games of chance available if a member was so inclined. When I saw this, I thought back to a time when Masons argued over the virtues of alcohol and games in lodge and why there was a concerted effort to prohibit it. Personally, I suspected the shrine didn't want the craft lodges to have it as it would represent a competitor to their venue. Nevertheless, I found the order's dues and initiation fees to be affordable, much more so than any Masonic lodge in my area. This was likely due to the revenues generated from alcohol, games, and renting of facilities. In other words, membership in the order was not a financial burden as found in many Masonic lodges today. The application process and initiation ceremony were highly compatible to that found in Freemasonry. This led me to suspect such orders were based on Freemasonry, as the comparisons were uncanny. For example, on the order's application, they claimed to be looking for men and women of good moral character. You couldn't join unless you believed in the existence of a supreme being, were of 21 years of age or older, not connected in any way to the Communist Party, did not believe in or advocate the overthrow of the government of this country by force or violence, nor was a convicted felon or registered sex offender. A criminal background check is performed on each candidate, who is also investigated by committee. Sound familiar? The order also donates millions of dollars to charity. A living community village or home is available for seniors, all of which are also familiar to Freemasons. Beyond this, though, the order offers discounts on insurance, travel, office supplies, and more. In other words, membership has its privileges. The order is open to both men and women, which would be alarming to most Masons, and there are no racial restrictions. For example, there's no Prince orders. The first year's membership is free for members of the military, law enforcement, and first responders, both current and retired. I thought this was a brilliant maneuver as it encourages membership and attracts the type of people they want to join their ranks. Freemasonry would be wise to study this further. In meetings, the order has jewels for the officers to wear. There was also dew guards and signs to observe. The obligation is reminiscent of that offered by Freemasonry, along with a brief lecture to explain member responsibilities. Interestingly, I observed our initiation could be viewed by the outside world through the windows in the room. So much for being a secret society. Perhaps the biggest difference between the order and Freemasonry resides in its constitution, a copy of which is provided to members following initiation. Whereas Freemasonry is managed on a state-by-state basis, or by province or territory in Canada, the order is run on an international basis from a single headquarters. This simplifies standards and promotes consistency between lodges. It also means the government of the order is flatter and more flexible to implement change. Grand Masonic lodges were first established in the early 1700s, way before the advent of the U.S. Constitution. Consequently, the government of the fraternity is essentially based on the monarchy model. However, as these other orders were introduced in the United States during the late 1800s, they tend to adhere to the concept of three separate but equal branches of government. For example, executive, legislative, and judicial. Such an approach prohibits one person from having ultimate authority in interpreting the laws, rules, and regulations, which may vary depending on who is in office. It also causes a legislative body to be formed from the current and past presidents of the orders. In conclusion, I am certainly not suggesting one fraternal group is better than another. Each has its own distinct set of interests and methods of implementation. However, one could certainly learn from the others. For example, what the order lacks in terms of decorum, they make up for in socialization. Conversely, what Freemasons lack in socialization, they make up for in decorum. Freemasons possess a stronger sense of history and attention to detail in its ceremonies, thereby attempting to teach character, such as morality, love of God and country, honor, sacrifice, and so on. By doing so, they are trying to assist their members in the building of character. The other orders are much less formal, but still endeavor to promote character and brotherhood through the help and society of others. In contrast, the order has been successful in generating money from alcoholic libations with no adverse effects. For example, swearing, fighting, and intemperance are not tolerated and may result in penalties or suspensions for members. Further, rooms can be rented for parties and special events. Negotiating benefits for its members, such as providing discounts on insurance, travel, office supplies, etc. And finally, they've been successful in attracting new members with the type of character they desire, both men and women. One could argue Freemasonry has slowly been evolving from a true fraternity to just another men's club. They may be more solemn in their ceremonies, but surely they are not naive to believe they have a monopoly on the concept of brotherhood. When I recently joined the order, my initiation class consisted of 22 people, including both men and women, which is more than double what a single Masonic lodge in my area may get in a single year. 2 weeks earlier, another 22 people were initiated, and 60 people joined in December. Not surprising, the order is financially sound, their activities are booming, their future looks rosy, and everyone appears to be happy. Freemasonry is missing the boat if they dismiss the other orders out of hand. They are gaining in stature while the Masons are declining. I'm not suggesting the Masons totally abdicate their current mission, but there is no denying their membership has been diminishing at an alarming rate. Something needs to change before the lodges close their doors permanently. Perhaps a new hybrid organization needs to be conceived whereby alcohol and games of chance are allowed following a meeting or degree, that the Grand Lodge seeks supplemental benefits for its members, or that they also try to attract the right types of people to their organization. If the other orders can do it, why not the Masons? Freemasonry may be much older, but these younger fraternities have grown up and appear to be prospering. What do they know that we do not? I, for one, am not too shy to ask. In the meantime, more people are gravitating to these new orders while turning their backs on Freemasonry. Perhaps this is a sign of our changing social values. Let us not close our eyes, ears, and mouths and hope nobody notices. It's much too late for that. Friends, keep the faith. This is Tim Bryce in Palm Harbor, Florida. Follow me on the internet at timbryce.com.